Hi everyone, and welcome to the first video of a new series in which I'll develop a computer game that is completely designed by ChatGPT. So ChatGPT will be the game designer, and it is the boss for all things design. I do not question its design decisions or writing. I don't try to improve it or make the game better. I simply implement the game it designs like the mindless programming drone I am. So stick around and let's see how good ChatGPT is at designing a game. Now, before we dive into the process, let's go over the tools that I'll be using for this project. We'll be using Unity to make the game. You're probably familiar with it. It's one of the most popular game engines out there. Specifically, we'll be using Adventure Creator, the plugin for Unity. It's an adventure game creation tool. While there are several excellent adventure game creation tools in existence, I firmly believe that Adventure Creator is at the head of the pack. While some adventure game creation tools are more focused and so easier for specific goals, Adventure Creator can do anything any of the others can do, plus also seamlessly integrates into the entire power of the Unity engine. It's also one of the most well-documented software tools I have ever seen, period, and the developer is an absolute customer support beast. This video is not sponsored by Adventure Creator, but I like to spread the gospel when someone's doing good work. The designer for our game is the world-famous ChatGPT, and our artist is Night Cafe. Additionally, we'll be using GIMP for editing the images, and a program called Creature for any animations we need. So let's get over to ChatGPT and go over the design. Now, before making this video, I had it generate some of the initial design just to make sure this project would work at all. So that's what we're going to be working off of today. And we're just going to go over some of this stuff. I won't read all of this out, this long chat here, but you could pause the video and read all of it if you want to. So the first thing I did is I had it come up with some ideas for adventure games. It didn't come up with anything particularly interesting. All of these things have been done before in countless adventure games. So I just had it pick the first one. We're going to make a time-traveling game where we go to different eras and solve puzzles. So good. I tell it that that's what we're going to do. It comes out with a summary of the game. Let's read the plot. It calls it ChronoQuest. In ChronoQuest, the player takes on the role of a time traveler who has been tasked with preventing a catastrophic event from occurring. The event has the potential to destroy the fabric of time and unravel the very fabric of reality itself. The player must travel through different eras and solve puzzles to gather the necessary information and tools to stop the event from happening. Okay, and it says it's a point-and-click adventure game. It takes place in different eras. It meets various historical figures. Basically, adventure game stuff. Yeah, so next I had it write a sort of more formal game design document, which it does. It says ChronoQuest is a point-and-click adventure game that takes the player on a journey through different eras to prevent a catastrophic event that threatens to unravel time and space itself. The game is designed for PC. I would hope so, because I can't develop for anything else at, at the moment. And will be developed using a 2D game engine. Unity can do 2D games, and so forth. And so it lists some characters, which actually may or may not appear. We'll see what it actually designs, but this is sort of its idea. It has these locations, and it has some puzzles for each of the locations, which is nice. This is a good start that it has here. So the next thing I tell it to do is I have it give step-by-step details for solving each of the puzzles. we won't actually read that right now because as we go on with the series, this is what we're going to be implementing. So it actually says um, the steps for solving each of these puzzles, and I tell it to, so now write the first scene. What happens at the beginning of the game? So the game begins with the player character, a time traveler, traveling through time and space, searching for new adventures. An aimless wanderer, it would appear. As the character is traveling, they suddenly receive a message from their future self. The message is urgent and cryptic, warning them of an impending catastrophic event that will occur in the near future. And the whole rest of this. So then I say, okay, they received a message. So I said, well, write the message. And it does. And I realized when it writes the message that the player needs a name. So I said, we can read this message. It says, attention, player name. This is your future self. Listen carefully. In a few days, a group of rogue time travelers will activate an ancient artifact that has the power to unravel time and space itself. The artifact will cause a chain reaction that will rip apart the fabric of reality and destroy the universe as we know it. You are the only one who can stop them. You must travel through time and prevent them from activating the artifact. The fate of the universe rests in your hands. I cannot tell you more. The rogue time travelers are watching and listening. They are dangerous and will do anything to achieve their goal. Be careful and do not trust anyone. Good luck, player name. You can do this. The future is counting on you. And it's kind of weird that this is the player from the future and they keep referring to themselves by name. Isn't that a bit weird? Okay. So yeah, I realize this character needs a name. So initially it says, well, I don't know the name. You can make the name anything you want. So I said, well, make the name. So it decides that our character is going to be named Maya Rain. Yeah, so I haven't tried to rename the game. One of its suggestions is Quantum Leap, which is obviously already taken by a very popular TV show. So I ultimately decide that I'm going to keep its name Chrono Quest, except misspell it so that it is not the name of an already existing game from 1988, which few people know about, I think, anyway. So, but anyway, we do this cute thing, and yeah. And so the first thing I do, because I realize, okay, I need to start this game out with more than just a cutscene. So I ask it to design a puzzle that will happen at the beginning of the game, and it designs this simple puzzle to repair the time machine so that the game can happen. And and then so it writes the opening cutscene, which it actually writes a little more than the opening cutscene because the opening cutscene actually ends here. And then this is the player action. This is going to be what the player does. This is not going to be part of the cutscene. So when the player does this, then they're going to get this response and get their goal to fix the ship. And this is also going to be player action, right? This is literally the puzzle that it just made. So this is going to be the player's going to do this, and then once the player has done that, the character will say this line, and we are... Oh, and then we see glimpses of a catastrophic future, and Maya says, "What was that? A catastrophic event? No, I need to stop this. I need to travel through time and stop whoever is causing this." You know, a bit on the nose. But, yeah. The last thing I do is I ask it what I should prompt Night Cafe to make an image of the catastrophic event. So, largely what I found about ChatGPT is that it designs like a 3-year-old. There's no nuance. Characters seem to just kind of say what they're doing. Um, there's the puzzles are simplistic and it's not clear in a lot of cases exactly how they relate to the goal. We could have made a series about designing a game or about building a game designed by a 3-year-old, but that's a video for someone else to make, I think. So if you know any 3-year-olds, make that video and send me a link. That'd be interesting. So yeah, now that we've gone over the design, let's get over to Night Cafe and generate the images we need for this. So we've asked Night Cafe to render us a futuristic time machine interior adventure game scene. And this is what it came up with. They're definitely adventure game scenes, so I'm liking this right off the bat. There's plenty of space for a character to walk around in. It seems to understand that it needs that for this to function as a game scene. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the fact that it is making all of these scenes are perfectly able to be used in an adventure game. There's plenty of space to walk around, things to interact with. So let's go over them and take a look at what it made here. Here's an interesting one that looks kind of like a server room, not so much like a time machine. There's sort of an interesting piece. It's a little too abstract. Right, there's the looks like it's, I mean, it has windows. That's kind of a strange thing for Time Machine to have. It looks like a building. This one is nice. So I quite liked this. Definitely could have been the one that I chose. It has a really nice feel. I like the lighting of it. So this was a definite contender. This one's a bit abstract. This one is kind of empty. This one isn't very focused. This one is a little messy, a little abstract. This one's nice, but it looks like a lounge. So we're not, yeah, in a different, if we're looking for something different, this could be something that is definitely usable. This is the one that I ended up choosing. I think this looks very much like a futuristic time machine. It's a good opening scene to open up on for our game. So this is the one that we'll be using. We'll just look at the others real quick. A little bit abstract. This is a nice picture. It just didn't look functionally appropriate for what we're doing. Yeah, a little, I mean, it has titles on it too, and it's a little not really focused. Composition's a little weird. So this is an interesting one. It has a bench blocking the door for some reason. Yeah, and this is, yeah, it looks a little unfocused as well. So we're going to use this one. I like this one for a number of reasons. We have a nice door for our character to walk in and out of, entering and exiting the scene. We have some kind of machine here that could be something. We have a panel over here, and then this would become some sort of view screen that we can superimpose images over and that kind of thing. So it looks nice. It looks like a nice time machine scene that we can use for our game. And so the next thing we need to do is we need to generate a character. This is something that image generators are not very good at. Making actual characters that are usable in games. Like, as you can see, these are mostly terrible. We know that our character is female because her name's Maya Rain. So this was my prompt. I mean, that's not something that's usable. In fact, none of these were usable. Actually, this is the one that was a bust. Yeah, this is the one where I actually found a character. So what I changed the prompt to was front and side view. So from that first one that you saw, this is the difference in the prompt. I said front and side view. It kind of kind of did better. Okay, I guess this is front and side view. I mean, sure. I mean, it's not the most unusable thing I've ever seen, especially compared to some of these others, right? This is not usable. There's not even a front view. Right. This is, yeah, that is some very weird thing. So yeah, it came up with this kind of stuff mostly. This is kind of understands a little bit, except these don't look like the same person. The clothes are different colors, and these are both side views. It's just, yeah, it has some issues. So I'll skip over that for now because that's the one we ended up using. Yeah, so just showing off the rest of these. It's pretty terrible. But it did come up with this one, and this one is usable. This one, it looks nice. It looks like a character that we can actually use for our game. So we decided to use this. And now that we have our images, we go to GIMP to do some editing and to get ready for the animation. Okay, here we are in GIMP. I have just cut her out from the background here so that we have transparent background. And one additional thing that I did was she had an eye patch over here in the original version, which doesn't match. So I cut out her eye and pasted her eye over here. Kind of resized it a bit to match. It looks fine for the work we're doing here. So yeah, this is totally usable. So we just make the individual images here. These are going to be our idols. We aren't going to animate idols. She's just going to stand still, front and forward for idols. But we are going to have to animate a walk cycle because it would look very strange if she just slides around the screen. So the next thing we have to do is tediously, painstakingly cut out parts of her body. So we have the original over here, and then we cut off her arm and try to fill it in very badly because I'm not an artist. Most of this will be covered up by her arm most of the time, hopefully, and cut off her leg and then try to give her a butt because her arm is blocking it over here, so we have to draw that in. And so I just copied her arm, made it slightly darker to be her back arm. She'll be moving. Nobody will notice, probably. And yeah, so we've got this side of a leg, another side of a leg that I created from this partial leg, and pasting some of this onto this and creating a back leg. So yeah, we have her side view, and then here is the front view, which is much easier to cut out because everything's kind of separate. So we cut off her arm here, we cut off her other arm here, we cut off her legs, and we have something that's ready to animate. So let's go on over to Creature and get to animating. Here we are in Creature. Now, the original reason that I found Creature was I was looking for tools to use for this project and was trying to get as much of it done by AI as possible. And actually, Creature came up as a search result for looking for AI-generated walk cycles for the game, to see if I could get AI to generate a walk cycle. So Creature does have that functionality in the Pro version and in the trial version. So I was able to try it in the trial version, and it is pretty bad. Yeah, it's not good. I don't think that it was even good enough for this project. So I decided that we would just animate it a more normal way. But however, when I was working with Creature, I found that it is actually sort of an easy way to animate for people who are not animators like myself. So I was impressed by the software. I decided to use it anyway, even though we're not using its AI generative functionality. So what we do in Creature is we import the pieces that we made and put them together, and then we rig them up with bones, like a 3D model would have, right? So you rig your model up, and then you can do things like, right, move this stuff around. We can move her arms, and even though this is one piece, as you saw, we can bend her arms, right? Because it has these are meshes that we can deform. We can have her bend forward. And so all of this stuff is going to make our animation job much, much easier. Yep. So you can see her leg bent the wrong way. Ugh, that looked terrible. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So anyway, that's just the test mode. We're going to go on over here to the animate mode. And you can see I've already done the animation. Her walk cycle looks like this. Unfortunately, I don't. This is probably something that I just haven't figured out yet, but I don't know how to slow down the animation. So when I play this, she walks like this because it's only a 8-frame animation, and it tries to play it at really, really high speed. There has to be some way. I mean, they can't make a program that has this many features and not be able to slow down the animation. That's not possible, right? That they can't possibly have done that. But in any case, I don't know how to do it. But I managed to get us a walk cycle. I also did the front walk cycle. I won't go and open that file. You basically have the idea. And so now we have an animated character for our game from our AI generated image. And the only thing to do now is go into Unity and put together the beginnings of our game. Okay, and here we are in Unity. You can see I have imported all of the stuff. Here's our images. We have various folders. We have our background here. We have our characters. We have, these are actually our images of the catastrophic event that will appear on the screen. We'll get to that in a later video. We have our animations that we created. Let me go back over to GIMP real quick. I can show you what we outputted. What outputted? Is that the word? And yeah, this is what we ended up with from our animation efforts. And yeah, we have all of that, and we just have to put it together into a game. So that's the easy part, right? We put our background in, we set everything up with AC. There are, just for completeness sake, there are a couple of other plugins that I have in here that I haven't mentioned yet. I have Power Sprite Animator. This is a tool by Powerhoof, and it is going to make animating sprites much, much easier than it usually is in Unity. So I imported that into our project, and the only other third-party asset that we are using is an asset called Full Screen, which you can get from the Unity Asset Store, and it makes it so that the Unity editor can play the game in real full screen, which is something that Unity can't do by default for some reason. So yeah, those are all of the things that we are using to make this game, in case you're curious. And so what we do is we import our background, we have our character, which is here. Although in Adventure Creator we have this disabled because we have the prefab. I won't go over all of this, but just We have a prefab over here to instantiate our character in the scene, and let's just play it and see what we have. We'll put the full screen here. What's going on? This machine is malfunctioning. I can't travel through time like this. What an incredibly well-written line by Mr. ChatGPT. And yeah, so we can just walk around our scene here. Not much else we can do at the moment, but this is the state that we have currently gotten to. If you're wondering about, how I have combined all of the elements into getting a game to this point, then it's pretty simple with Adventure Creator. This isn't an Adventure Creator tutorial, so I won't get into it, but if you are using Adventure Creator, there are lots of tutorials out there. You can figure out how to get to this point of making a game pretty easily. Setting up areas, walkable areas, and animating your sprite and having them walk around the screen. It's very easy using that tool. So, yep, this is what we have. This is the beginning of our game that is completely designed by AI. If you want to see the actual nitty-gritty of the development and so forth, I'm going to be streaming on Twitch some of this development. So I plan to start next week, starting to stream some of the game development and some of the design and chatting with the ChatGPT and trying to convince it to actually make some sort of cohesive design, which should be an interesting challenge. And we're going to finish this game and have it be something that you can download and play in the future as well. And that's it for this video. In the next video, we'll have ChatGPT flesh out some of its designs and keep on making the game. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more of this project. And I'll see you in the next video, or over on Twitch if you decide to join me over there. I'll put the link in the description. Take care. I do not question its design decisions or writing. There's a cat on my chair.